All right, welcome to the world's greatest BJJ podcast, Field BJJ Talks. We're here without a round table. Like, comment, subscribe, baby. We got a lot of things to talk about. And without your support, without you saying anything, sharing this thing, we ain't never gonna get a round table. For those 50 people that watch this,
comment. Would you rather subscribe to this or an OnlyFans? We can make an OnlyFans.
We can make a good one too.
I think about the calendar. You guys threw that out. You know what's funny? Alex was like, "You guys should legitimately do a calendar," and I was like, "You're not the first person to say that."
Hey, and then Meg said that BJJ looks like BFF.
And I can't unsee it.
I can't unsee it now. Now all you guys are gonna see that and thinking we're BFFs. I hate that.
This is the Shield BFF podcast.
No, he doesn't. He loves me.
Get your hands.
Oh, this could be a good segment. Let's do chair jitsu instead of car jitsu. Chair jitsu, where you guys just fight in the chairs. I'm gonna turn it into WWE.
Speaking of that, I don't even remember what time I put the open mat for tomorrow.
9.
Dang it! I wanted to do 8 o'clock.
Oh, somebody didn't.
Oh my god. But anyways, today
You're like, it's too so you this is gonna come out next week. I love it.
we're gonna talk about reading the room. What else did we say we're gonna talk about? Oh, wrestlers that come into like jiu-jitsu. Sorry, this is unscripted, off the cuff. Wrestlers in jiu-jitsu, lapel guard, like stupid guards that like people in jiu-jitsu play. Okay, so like we know that it gets frustrating for us to have to do
bad jiu-jitsu.
Bad jiu-jitsu too.
Which those kind of go hand in hand.
Brandon actually had a dumb, stupid technique too that he gets pretty much everyone with.
That works.
It worked. It's so bad. Well, I practiced that
Jiu-jitsu. I remember the jiu one did it on you. You're like, does Brandy do this to you? It's like, yeah. Then we went and had a couple beers. He's like, that was bad jiu-jitsu. I was like, people don't forget.
All right, we're gonna get to that, right? So first thing, reading the room. It coaches. Oh, and then like we're gonna finish off with a kind of serious note. But for coaches, coach to coach, professor to professor. But anyways, reading the room. No, you don't need to leave the room. Shut your mouth, man. Let's talk about this.
Let's talk about it.
You remember that one time when I was talking about white and black, and now both emails like that was red twins. It's not though. I played them in.
$3 job. Well, you were there. I made eye contact with you.
I didn't even think about it.
No.
It because it was like I think it was talking about white belts and black belts.
You were correct. But it's just my mind just like because I was just the Uki and you were talking. I was kind of in my own world.
So the story, he was talking about difference between whites and blacks.
And it wasn't
Our normal class. So most people in our normal class would understand it, but it was a fundamental class, and there was a bunch of new people in there, and it was something along those lines. And it just like obviously came out wrong. I don't remember how you phrased it.
I don't remember even.
But it was just thought it was. Yeah, you were just showing a technique, and you were.
Oh, you were monkey. Oh, yeah. Then you're like, you called me out and said that. Well, that's coming.
No, I whispered it to you.
Yeah, and then that girl was like, "Well, yeah, that
kind of would." But it was just how you phrase it, because you were just saying like the technique could be used from all the way from white belt all the way.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And you just left out belt each time you said color, so you're like from white to black, and I'm like. And I let that Brandon first kind of side eye, but I wasn't gonna say nothing, and I started laughing, and you're like, "What are you laughing about?" So I said it, and then she joined in, but
yeah, she didn't have to make that comment.
Yeah,
white belts, you don't have to make those comments.
Well, that is, but on the topic of reading the room, you know, it's you know, if you got a bunch of new people in there, you got to be careful the kind of lingo that you use. Because even if it's not something like inappropriate, it's just something that people don't understand. Then you know, it's like, hey, I've got to take time to go back and do that, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I used to have a professor back in the day. We used to call it Tuesday, Thursday night lecture night, and he would he would, before we started rolling, he would hold everyone captive because we wanted to roll, but like, did we really want to roll that bad? I mean, we were just stuck for like an hour. It felt like an hour.
Ooh.
We're just sitting there, and he's kind of belittling us, and we're just sitting there like, all right, is he done?
That might have been a good thing. He might have like amped you up so much that it might have made you train where you are at, you know? It's like reverse psychology a bit there.
Don't do that, Professor. Don't just sit there and talk. It drives me freaking nuts too.
That's bad, Professor.
Coming in nuts.
Wicked. You know what's funny is when I teach, I try to like talk as little as possible because I know how easy it is to rant. I know how like attention spans go. Like,
Yep.
I just never want to be that guy.
Yeah, and that goes
Out there in the soapbox.
and that goes into your rabbit hole like speech you had to give the other night
Yeah.
about questions.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's a really good thing that we could talk about.
What is it that just in general, like they talk about, like when you teach something, if you can teach it to like a 5-year-old in those kind of terms, like everybody can get it. So like you said, try to keep it to a minimal.
Yeah.
And it's try to hit the high points, especially for like a white belt. But like us guys, like when we start dissecting stuff, that's a little bit different. But
You know, and then it's different with ladies too. Ladies really do like, I mean, I don't want, here we go again. I'm generalizing and maybe I might come off as sexist. The ladies that have come across.
read the room, dude.
Yeah, there we go again. I'm bad at that. It's okay. So, yes, if it would, they better not cancel me. Dang it, I'm making it, you know? And where was I going with this? Oh, the ladies from Bob Marlon, an explanation to everything. I'm like, you don't need an explanation. Just do it. Right? Just do it.
No, it's true though. Yeah, that's true. There's not always an answer to everything, but there is always a lot of answers to everything. Which,
Yeah.
and sometimes you got to do it to get the answer. Like,
well, I think that's more the problem too. And Johnny, you can kind of and Nick, you guys can expand on that too. Where the other night we had a white belt ask a question like, why you wouldn't do this, and Johnny had to explain that. Well, you're gonna go down a rabbit hole because every single movement that you do, we're teaching like Deli Eva, so it's like he asked why you didn't do a certain thing. Well, it's because this is fundamental class, and then there's like 18 different answers to what you can do out of each position.
Exactly. And yeah,
it was a good question, but yeah, it just there's so much like there's so many like there's no one way to do jiu-jitsu. Like there's
and then like you got to kind of like steer the students in kind of like a direction of like asking like the questions that are gonna be like fruitful, like in like
that point.
That point, right? Because if you start going down the rabbit hole, now like the technique that you need to deal with like the certain situation that they brought up, it's like it's not even like the same technique that we're working. Right.
So if you have pressing questions, you can always ask like an upper belt or your professor afterwards, and even do like one-on-one type of stuff.
Ask just Brandon.
Don't
Ask with Brandon.
I gave a really bad answer. I'm a blue belt.
I feel like I'm missing something right here. You two are like the same.
Well, we are related. We got like
You know, I'm not messing with no one. Anyways, big go Brandon. You guys know the you.
You ever get in trouble? Caught up minute. Well, it depends on I guess it depends on the trouble.
Yeah, right.
There. Also, anything.
Anything.
All right. Well,
Next time.
Okay, wrestlers and jiu-jitsu. Okay, D1 wrestlers. I mean, like high school wrestlers. Some of them that do very well in like the high school world can still come in and do very well in jiu-jitsu. Dante is a very good example of that. No, Dante at our gym. You know, but then we have other wrestlers, Brandon, Brian, Joel, and then the other wrestlers that come come from college backgrounds. They absolutely
Franco.
Franco will run through and they'll get 100% through like I would say up to a purple belt. And then like the top level guys, they will run through even a black belt. And I've seen it time and time again. And I don't want you guys out there on Facebook, oh, well, Bo Nickel, the reason why we're talking about this is because Bo Nickel literally ran through like a whole jiu-jitsu gym, and that's definitely a thing that can happen. Okay, guys, like I know for a fact that those college wrestlers would be able to run through an average black belt.
Yeah, well, you got to think like Bo Nickel, for people that don't know, what is he? He's like how many national champions has he won?
2, and he was a runner-up once. So
Did he do any Olympics or anything like that, or no?
no, he tried, but so I think he's a junior world champ.
Okay.
So high level. And so yeah, so people were kind of dogging on him too when he got in the UFC, but about like, I was just going to focus on his wrestling. But I mean, objectively, he's finished one with a triangle, one with an arm triangle, I think, and then a knockout, right?
Yeah,
so like
last week.
Yeah, just last reading. So like, you know,
And that was a quick knockout.
and that was a quick knockout too. And so like the main thing with like wrestlers is that there's a really good base, because like part of learning jiu-jitsu, especially if you don't have any background in like gymnastics or wrestling or anything like that, it's just learning your body and like how your weight shifts and differentiating that. Like a buddy of mine came in a couple weeks ago. He's gonna come in tomorrow too, by the way. He was a D1 wrestler, super high level, wrestled for the Naval Academy, like very, very good wrestler, wrestled on the Olympic circuit. And just like Johnny made the comment, like, you know, he's picking things up quick, because you'll understand like certain movements and why your body needs to do that. Whereas like your average white belt, nothing against them, they're just like trying to figure out like the mechanics.
Yeah.
You know.
And they never grapple either.
Right.
And like grappling, jiu-jitsu shouldn't even be called jiu-jitsu, but I know why we call it jiu-jitsu. It's grappling. I mean, like Brazilian jiu-jitsu is a hodgepodge of all sorts of grappling art. Some places focus on just guard. Some places focus on top game. I mean, it is like kind of like Bruce Lee's like Jeet Kune Do, like a mix of all sorts of grappling. There's a lot of influence from Sambo into Nogi now. You know, wrestling now, because of the ADCC, you see a lot of like crossover into the sport. And look, freaking Nicky Rod is another perfect example of who came in with very little experience. Like, I think he was a blue belt or purple belt, and got silver medal at ADCC. So
And he was a D2 wrestler, you know.
Yeah.
So like, you know, he was good, but like he wasn't like Bo Nickel, you know, kind of caliber. You started wrestling in high school, or you started jiu-jitsu while you were in
Yeah, I wrestled in elementary school, just for like a year, in the middle school, high school. Was never really good though. I was thinking about you talking about gymnasts though. I knew 2 gymnasts that were gymnasts as kids, and they became state champions in high school for a couple of years. Yeah, like it's just that crazy transfer with like athleticism and knowing your body. And that's very interesting. And also like talking about like the techniques too, like jiu-jitsu just being like a hodgepodge of all these like martial arts. Like there's a good quote from Keenan I was thinking of. You said that was all moves work like from all these martial arts just in like certain scenarios. Like every move you want or like somebody could teach, they work. Now depending on like the handicap or like the level of your opponent, the scenario, like that's what, you know, really dials in like those games like Lucas Apri where they like work against everybody, you know, in every scenario. But it's so cool to have like the freedom to do wrestling, sambo, you know, Greco-Roman wrestling even, you know, get thrown by Brandon all day. It's pulling hard.
I love that quote. It's like, or the meme, it was like the balloon or whatever, and it's like years of high level wrestling, and then it's like defeated by me sitting down.
Yep, pretty much. If you're guard puller, I still love you. I guard pull. And I know that's like the what do you call it? Like people in jiu-jitsu, they want to pretend like they know stand up, but they haven't like. Man, let me tell you something. I'm kind of, my ADHD is just going all over the place. I know for a fact that if anyone, Matt, you have been there with me, and Brandon, Nick, we have been there for wrestling practice. We know all your soft jiu-jitsu guys wouldn't be able to last their wrestling practice. If I ran a jiu-jitsu class like a wrestling class, I'd be poor. Like, they nobody would stick around for that. It's brutal. Like when I had Brian run like just a takedown clinic, and we're just like trying to take down that mountain, the mountain of a man. It was the most brutal thing that I've ever done.
And it's, you know, when watching Joel and Yoel, they were, and Nogi, it was basically just like stand up. They're just wrestling. And the intensity too, like when you have like people that know how to stand up, and like I feel like the intensity too was like wrestling. I don't know what kind of room you're from, but you know, like there's a reason why there's wall mats, right? And because like, you know, you don't stop and you just keep going and going and going and bounce off, where like a lot of times like, you know, it's a different pace with especially in the gi. I feel like it's a little bit slower pace, whereas like wrestling, it's just like all dog.
Yeah, man.
Our old wrestling room used to have like the gymnasium doors, and they were matted too. There were several times I could remember people getting like double leg through the doors, even like in the middle of a girls' basketball practice. It was hilarious.
Yeah. And I'm glad that like whenever we have our guys here, like not to like toot our own horn, but like we get after it, man. Like and that's why like some people like they kind of crave that like in like the community, because not every jiu-jitsu school will have that type of I'm not saying we're a wrestling room at all, but like we definitely have like a different like type of like pace or intensity. That's why we have like certain personality clashes during the role.
Yeah.
But I think everyone's kind of understanding too that it's all rolling. You know, don't
it
take
is.
out.
It's a game.
It's a game.
Hey man, if we're not getting upset, then I don't know what you're doing it for.
We lost that one.
We lost the light.
If they can't even see it. So.
But the show will go on. So speaking of the show going on, what do y'all think? What do y'all think about Mark Zuckerberg starting the show shirtless? Is he part of the jiu-jitsu community now?
I hope Elon Musk destroys him.
I'm in that boat.
I will pay whatever it costs to watch those two guys fight.
I think it was me, man. Team Zuck or Team Musk?
So I'm conflicted. I really like this is the
Choice.
Yeah, I really like Musk, but I really respect that Zuckerberg he's fully into jiu-jitsu, right? So like I feel like Elon's kind of just doing it a little bit to be a troll, but like Zuckerberg's training with like Mikey Musumeci, he's training with like Craig Jones, he's training with Volkanovski, Adesanya, like he's like going full in, and Joe Rogan said on his podcast, this guy has more money than anybody that we'll ever meet. He doesn't need to do jiu-jitsu. He just wants to. And I think it's really commendable too. Like it's cool. That's cool to see, like, you know, the kids, like, you know, that come to our class. And when I say kids, like 19, 20-year-old kids that, you know, have to save up to enter into an IBJJF tournament are potentially competing against a guy that's got billions of dollars. You know what I mean? So like, but it doesn't matter on the mat. And that's what's really cool. That's what's cool. It's a great equalizer, you know? But he's also got all the money to get trained by the best black belts in the world.
They can give vengeance for getting in a Facebook jail.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Put me in jail, son.
Oh, you know what? Elon Musk is gonna put a virus in your test.
Set us up. I know. I told you I was conflicted. All right, I'll still go Team Elon, man. Don't mess me up.
You can get that free update.
And if you guys haven't like looked at this man's like social media page, he got this cool little truck. I gotta put together a video like how cool this Honda Acti or Acti.
I've got a video of you driving it.
I know. I'm gonna post it.
Have you
Yeah, bless people.
Not yet. I'm still working on it. I'm yeah.
More to come. Are you gonna get spinners on that thing?
Man, that's a good idea. I thought about making it into a dually.
But you know what? Let's circle back to like this whole Elon Musk and Zuckerberg.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, like the jiu-jitsu community is kind of funny. It's like once you start training jiu-jitsu, it's like it's mine.
Yeah.
I don't want to share this with anyone. But like the community also on the other hand is like, oh, how cool is Mark Zuckerberg doing jiu-jitsu? You know, like, and everyone in the comments like, whoa. Well, I could beat him up.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. So, you know, it gets like that. Well, I don't know. It's so crazy because I know that it doesn't just go with Zuckerberg. Like, think of like, I would say, no, I would say even on like more of a us type level, right?
Yeah.
When I seen it time and time again, you know, like being the coach and professor and like owning a gym, where females don't want other females to come into the gym because it's like territorial. Do you not know what I'm talking about, man? We have been, us three have been there. I don't know about you, Nick, but like we had a little spout. But and it's because like they're so. There you go, watch this. And I know those things. You stay with me, man. You're doing this right now. That's why we're never. You can't even say it. You're gonna say be at us, but I'm saying I guess they call me Jeff though. Hey, but you guys know it, right?
Yeah, no, there is this weird like gatekeeping mentality. Because if you get on on all the forums on like Facebook or whatever, like people post pictures like Tom Hardy competing or Zuckerberg, and everyone's like crap talking them. And like, dude, just shut up, man. Just let them do whatever they want. You know, like they're out there.
Yeah. My thing is, it's like even though they're famous, it's like okay, it's like you said earlier, like we share the mat. Like it doesn't matter. And like they make famous.
Yeah, right. Besides, make cool movies.
Yeah, the best movies.
I mean, and everybody's getting into it. But we see that, like I know you guys saw like Barry Bonds that got in blue belt.
Yeah, that's sweet.
So that's cool. Like it's just.
Oh, we got like 9 minutes. I'm just making sure. Sorry, guys.
But but I think that what people aren't recognizing is that by these big names getting into jiu-jitsu, it's just growing our sport.
Yeah.
And people were complaining years ago about how like jiu-jitsu wasn't as established or as popular as it was. Well, guess what? Now it is, and now you're gonna cry about it.
Hey, professionals ain't crying about it. I want people to come.
Hey, Zuck, come on.
Y'all need to shut up. Let them come, man. Let all the females come too. Dang it.
You sure about that?
No.
He didn't get it. That was the last time.
Brandon, can we write something up for the incoming death threats I'm gonna get after?
Yes.
All right, what was the last thing
We did
about?
The lapel.
Say dirty jiu-jitsu. It's not even dirty bad jiu-jitsu. Okay. Well, I think we're gonna have to fire this off. For me, it's the lapel and 50-50 in the gi. I hate that. I hate that with a passion. I hate that there's certain high-level black belts out there that will just cook people there just because they know they got an advantage and win.
What was
sad.
with the lapel? I mean, you got certain chokes with lapel, but you're talking more like lapel guards. Yeah, that.
Well, no, just one. I don't mind lapel guard. I do not like lapel guard with the lapel fed through 50-50.
Okay.
But that is almost impossible to get out. Well, okay, it's not impossible. It just really slows down the match big time, and I can't stand that guard. Maybe you guys are gonna say, well, why don't you just get out of it?
Or don't get caught. Don't get.
Yeah, I say that to my students all the time. I know. I don't try to get there.
Been like that for 4 years.
Shut your mouth, man.
Nick, what's your thought on the lapel?
Yeah.
Because it's kind of more popular, right?
Like I like the worry guards, like the open guards a lot because like they're very offensive and like you can find the back, you can find like a side smash off of the sweep and like you don't get locked down. Like you do get locked down there, but it's like it's more loose than a 50-50 and you can still move from there and there's counters to it. But yeah, 50-50, you're just fighting for a sweep. I remember I always loved the Mendez brothers and I remember watching Hoffa versus Cabrinha, like their whole 8 matches back to back to back just to see how they went down and what they improved on between matches.
Yeah.
And I feel like that rivalry was almost ruined because they spent I believe 6 of the 8 matches in 50-50 lapel guard.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, I was trying to find the Marigali talked about lapel guard, and he was making an argument that they at some point IBJJF allowed inside the pant grips, right? And it was either too hard to deal with or it was dangerous or something like that. And he was saying that why don't they do that with lapel guard? Because Pans and World, a lot of high level, some of these black belts are doing that, and it's it's almost impossible to deal with if you're good at it and you're in that 50-50 situation. So he was making the argument of you know, that they've outlawed other things before for the same reason. So why keep this one? I mean, hey, outlaw it if you want, but until then, I'm still using it, baby.
Speaking of that, he has this dumb sub that he does from close guard.
It can't be a
Raise your hand if he's got you with this
Sally.
No, he been dicking with it. Boy,
We'll try it. Hey, almost. Not twice. I'll give you 2 times.
boy, he tried. I'm like, what are you doing? You know why? It just rang in my head, Lucas. Like, don't let anyone touch your neck.
Yeah.
It's like when I tell you guys about the omoplata. I just here's his voice.
But here's the reason it works, and this is it's a good reminder that you can't be comfortable even in closed guard.
Yeah.
There's always a threat of a submission, and I know I personally will like walk up closed guard, and that's my like chance to get a couple second breather. But if someone's still attempting, you know, they can still be getting advantages even if they're in closed guard. And so, you know, I got an advantage in a competition. I didn't really try it, but the guy reacted to it and then gave me an advantage to it, or for it.
Oh, before we ran out of time, speaking of like just dirty jiu-jitsu, but it works. I mean, not good jiu-jitsu. With Dean Lister in ADCC, he would dig his elbows into people's close guards.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna help him work, especially if it's another black belt doing it to you. Yeah, it sucks.
Or they got pointy elbows.
Yeah.
And you don't have stick thighs, and it goes straight to the bone.
All right, I'm about to walk into the camera, and we got 3 minutes. Sorry, Pete.
So on Matt's point, start doing some squats, because thick thighs tell no lies. All right, nobody's opening you up if you're doing squats.
Get rid of those chicken legs.
Nobody with big legs is a liar.
Hey, you know what? Like, think about it. Like, speaking of thick thighs, like Brian and Dante, they are hard mofos to get a freaking leg lock on because their thighs feel like freaking bricks, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, tree trunks.
All right, so it's gonna be something new off the cuff. This is a question for the 2 black belts. Closing remarks. What move? What sweep? Whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
Would you encourage folks to go out, research, and practice this week?
Oh.
Way to sweep.
It's a good one.
Well, you know, I'll give my explanation to this. I think half guard is like coming back. And I think it's just a great position that you could get yourself into, like with a waiter sweep if you don't like to like come up on wrestle ups and stuff. And I think you could, it's just an OP type of sweep if you could like get to deep half position, get your legs up and just sweep the person. Gi no gi works really well.
Man, that would have been my answer, honestly.
Yeah.
That's been my favorite go, especially when like I'm in this shit, I'm in trouble in a competition. I'll do that one a lot. But to piggyback off of that, if it's not waiter sweep, I go X guard or single leg X.
Yeah.
Like those are good guards that are under. I mean, you need to be good at those guards and have that option. You got to be able to play the top of them, you know, be able to like sweep from the top, like your collar sleeves and your emerald pot sweeps and whatever. But then you need to be able to enter the legs too. It's very important.
And I just found out this guy's got a Patreon, so go subscribe. He'll show you that
Mainly
technique.
for the people on base that, because I teach on base. If you guys don't know, it's for free. But I put a lot of time into like developing what I want to teach, and I don't know, like it's a bunch of guys that are mainly just starting out. So if you guys want to support me, it's only $20, and it's completely optional too.
And if you don't, it's fine. You hate America, so support the troops.
America, fuck yeah, make the gi great again.
Make the gi great again.
All right, let's do it real quick. Hey, get over here. There we go.
Hey. See y'all back.
Last little remarks. I think I got 30 seconds. Never mind. And next time.
We're done it.
Time to bleed.